got a chance to see Squid Game Season 3 on Netflix. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zank. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to chat about Squid Game Season 3. I just finished it tonight. I'm not sure when I'm going to release this because I'm going to try to do it in the morning. But my mom passed, and I'm going to be leaving for Florida tomorrow for a couple of days for the funeral, so I'm not going to be posting for a bit. But I'll try to get this edited before I leave. I hope you guys are all doing well. And yeah, I was a semi fan of the first season. I know that it just blew up. There was a lot of really huge fans of it, and love it. Love that people got into it and saw something in it. It's always great to have, especially a something from across the seas, blow up. I mean, that's kind of how Godzilla happened. Godzilla blew up from Japan, and it became an American thing as well. It's great to have the walls of creativity kind of drop from one country to the other. Look at the amount of Japanese horror movies that were remade in America because they really liked how Japan and Korea and all those other places did their ghost stories. Like The Ring would not exist without without the films over there being very popular here. Some American filmmakers said, you know what, that's pretty cool. And I think that's what happened here. And I think that too the dubbing is pretty good with this as well. The dubbing really didn't bother me. There's occasionally I'm like, yeah, it doesn't quite match up, or the acting is not that good on the translation side, and it's probably better in the Korean. But for the most part, it didn't bother me. Some of the translators or some of the dubbers were overacted, probably more so than the original actors. And I hate when dubbing actors diminish the original acting or talent of the original actors, where it makes them sound shitty even though they never did. They probably sounded great, in their original language. So the first season, of course, had to do with the main actor, which is the guy that was also in The Acolyte. His name is Lee Jung-jae, is his actual name, but he's playing Seong Ji-hoon. I'm going to just not even bother trying to do these names because it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. But anyway, it followed him, and, it was almost like a Hunger Game type situation where you started out with a bunch of people. Well, I guess we call it a bracket kind of situation. Not that they're going up against one another, but they're going against the group until a point down the road where you're left with a couple of people or even one. And so it was interesting, having these people that were not warriors, were not trained in anything. They're just kind of thrown into playing these games and the greed that went along with it. And then in the second season, he is trying to search, even though he won and he's rich, he's now searching for the island to stop it so that no one else can get hurt. But the main character, the main guy that's putting the show on, or is the game master, I guess you'd call him, who's done a lot of American movies too. His name is Lee Byung-hun, and they just call him the front man. But he actually inserts himself into the games so that he can interact with Seong. And he kind of twists everything because he's like, no, people are inherently bad, they're inherently greedy, and even if you give them the choice to get out of a situation that they know is going to kill them, they won't go out because of the greed. So he instills a voting mechanism where the people who are stuck in the game can vote whether to stop the games at that time or to continue based on the amount of money that is now available from the people that have lost their lives. So that's the basis for that, and he kind of starts a rebellion by the end that does not go as planned. And that is basically the second season, and we're introduced to some of these characters. One of the characters' names is Thanos. He literally paints his nails the colors of the Infinity Stones. And he's taking these drugs that are in this cross necklace that he carries around. And he gives them out to like his cronies. So anyway, he doesn't make it past season 2, but the repercussions of his character do. So you have him, you have his cronies. I think there's 2. One's kind of a weakling. And then you have the mother and the son. And the son is, I really dislike the son, but the mother is very, very strong. Then the son is not. And then you have the girl that's pregnant, and the father of the child is also in there. And then you have the trans girl who is ex-military and can really take care of herself and does protect people. And then you have the guy that keeps saying that he's military, but you find out later that he wasn't. And he's one of the ones that screwed up the whole rebellion by not giving them the ammo, by not getting the ammo to them. And then, so that's the main storyline, right? But you have 2 other storylines going on simultaneously. And I was really wondering how that was all going to connect, because in season 2 we never saw really any of it connect. So Seung had hired these mercenaries, for lack of a better word, to search for the island, and one of the people that is helping that is a detective whose father, I think that the front man is his father. And anyway, he ends up getting thrown off the ledge or whatever else. But anyway, he ends up going back to the mainland and is now searching. But I think it's his father. I think that's the whole deal. And so he is now searching for that. And he's part of Seung's group there. They're on a boat, literally hopping from island to island to island, searching for the games. So you have that storyline. And then the boat, the guy who is the captain of the boat, is working for the games. And he's, of course, trying to stop them from finding the thing. And he actually murders someone. the drone officer that's, flying the drone to go find the thing. He kills him. So you have that storyline. And then you have the storyline of Kang Noel. And she was part of a Disney-type amusement park where she played a bunny. And one of the guys that works there, his daughter is ill. So he ends up joining the games to pay for her treatments. But Kang is one of the enforcers. She's one of the people with the masks on. So she's like killing people. Carrying around a machine gun. And meanwhile, parts of the group that are the enforcers, the soldiers, are taking people that aren't quite dead or had just died or whatever, but they prefer them semi-dead so that the organs are still going. So they bring him in front of a guy that's a surgeon so he can remove their organs and they can sell the organs off. So we have that going on as well. So you have all these little pieces going on, and I'm like, man, all this is all over the place. I'm not sure how this is going to wrap up. But anyway, so let's get into the third season. I'm going to do very mild spoilers. I'm not going to really do any spoilers. Light, I'm going to call it spoilers light, where I'm just going to talk about the beats. I'm not going to give away anything that's like a reveal or anything to that effect. All right, before we get into it, remember too that I am a writer myself, and if you'd like to read anything that I've written, you can go to Amazon.com and type my name in, or you can click in the link in the description below. It'll also take you there. You can check out my 4-novel series, sci-fi, and that is Destiny Aurora. It was also made into a board game and a graphic novel and an RPG. It's also on Audible. All my books are also on Kindle. You can check out my fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. If you like dragons and things to that effect, you're going to like that one. And my new comic, Fairy Tales of Terror, we're going to be launching very shortly. I should have the video by tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have to deal with the funeral, so I won't be even able to work on that until probably later in the weekend. So I'm hoping by next week I can actually launch that. But we are closing up on 500 followers over a period of like a week and a half. I can't even explain how well it's doing just for people signing up. So definitely go to the QR code here or check out the link in the description below as well and just sign up. And that's pretty much how in fact, the convention I just did, I was just handing out things like QR codes on it, like bookmarks. But you have a Psycho Cinderella killing people along with Captain Hook, Tiger Lily from Neverland's chasing them down through the streets of New York as they're leaving behind bodies, and there's obviously more to it, to what they're trying to accomplish. So it's gonna be fun. Anyway, definitely check that out. All right, so let's jump back into season 3 of the Squid Game. So I thought this season was actually, I know this closes up. It does close up at the end, but it also leaves it open for more, but not really more with the same cast or anything like that. So the season here, I thought there was a lot of weight to it. And so again, I'm going to do like little, beats. I'm not going to give away anything major, like who lives or anything to that effect. But all the different storylines do kind of coincide here. We find out what Kang is doing and how that's going to affect the guys that are doing the surgery on the guys who are getting the organs out and selling the organs. That kind of blows up. So we get that going on. And then the guys that are with the detective trying to find the island, that actually connects. So that all happens, and then Seong has to go back into the games now because of the fact that his little insurrection failed. But I think that the best episode, there's a couple of episodes that I really liked, but the episode that's called like Starry Night, because so here's what the names of them are in English. Keys and Knives. That actually starts the Ready or Not, Here I Come type of thing, like the hide and seek. That starts out the hide and seek one, and then Starry Night continues it, which is the second one. So what they do this time is that the game doesn't end. It goes from one episode to the other. And so half the group gets keys and half the group gets knives. So the ones that are hiding get the keys so that they can go to the doors. But once they open the doors, it stays that way. And there's also an exit door that they automatically get saved with. And then the other guys have knives because they're trying to kill anybody else who has a key. Any of the hiders they are trying to kill. So those two episodes, I thought, especially Starry Night, I thought were very, very intense. And I thought, like, even Ready or Not, the movie, was very good. I really loved that movie. And this here took a different twist on the hide and seek thing. But I really, it was like you were on the edge of your seat with what's going on there. I really like that. Then the next one is called It's Not Your Fault. And this one was a jump rope. So there's literally a bridge, and they have two huge mannequin statues that are doing this rope, and you have to jump the rope as you're trying to go forward. So very, very intelligent, I thought. Very good. And then episode 4 is just called 222. And the reason for that is that the girl that is pregnant is called 222. And she actually gives birth during the hide and seek one. So now we have a baby. And there's no doctor, no nothing. She literally gives birth during the game. I don't know. I think that you would still need a doctor in there somewhere. But the game master doesn't even bother. Doesn't even bother. And I really thought they were going to take the baby away. But instead they enter the baby into the games. So I'm not going to go into any spoilers for that, but how smart that is. That is incredible. That raised the stakes from here to here. And we know we have the father there, right? So how's he going to handle that? This gives Seong a purpose now, because once his insurrection goes, his motivation went down to 0. He was just ready to go. But once the baby got involved, that gave him another reason for living, kind of thing, or living through the games. Really, really good stuff by changing the whole dynamic by adding this baby into the games. It was very, 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 very smart of the writer to do that. It did literally changed everything. So I can't recommend some of these episodes enough. And then in the 5th episode, it's just the symbols. And this is the towers, basically. They had to go up on these towers that had the circle, square, and triangle, and they had to push certain characters off, or certain players off. And they had to push one off every single one of the things. So one tower is the circle, they had to push somebody off. They had to do a triangle, they had to push somebody off, etc. Or they could put up or multiple. And the last one is called Humans Are, and that is the end. That's the last episode. And it does, like I said, it does close up all of the episodes, all of the different storylines, intersect and finish. Up to the point where it goes 6 months. At some points, I didn't know what I was watching. There was like an airport scene. I was like, I don't even know what I'm watching here. And but so there's one piece that doesn't really finish up. We don't know what happened there, and that was the connection to the airport that I was confused about. So I don't know if they should have gone there. But anyway, everything else is 6 months later, where everything kind of finishes up. And we find out about the baby and all that other stuff. And, but also at the very end, there is, you know how they play with the little packets, the folded paper and the red and the blue, and then they throw it and they got to turn it over. So that ends up happening in an alley. And I'm like looking at this blonde woman in Korea. I'm like, what, huh? And I'm like, damn, that looks like Kate Blanchett. Look. And then they threw a close-up on her, and it is Kate Blanchett in one scene with, like, one line of dialogue. I was like, what? How did you get Kate Blanchett for one scene and, like, 1 to 2 lines of dialogue? I think it was just one. and I don't think it was like it's like 2 or 3 words. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, what? And I looked it up to see why she would even do that. Maybe she was a fan or whatever. And I think they're trying. I think Netflix is trying to do an American version of it, where she would then be the game master. I would watch the hell out of that. I love Kate Blanchett. I think she's great. She has such stage presence. It's just incredible. Anyway, I've talked too long about this already, but again, I don't think I really did any spoilers. So that's great. Hopefully, and the little pieces I did tell you about, hopefully that gives you the motivation or the interest to seeing it. Because I really thought that they went all out with this, especially after the first one. How do you make the second one interesting? And I think they did. I think they kind of took it at a different angle, and we really got to meet the characters in this one more than we did in the first season. And everybody kind of got their comeuppance, I thought. For the most part, there are a couple of deaths where you're like, ugh, I wish that hadn't happened. But it definitely adds to the drama where nobody is safe. That's for sure. All right, remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Share this video out there. But I'm going to give this on a scale from 1 to 10. I think it's an 8. I think it's an 8 season. I don't think it's a thing I'm going to watch over again. But it definitely was written very well. Definitely written well. All right, remember to check out my stuff on Amazon. Also, definitely jump into Fairy Tales of Terror. I think the campaign's going to do very well. QR code is here. Link in the description below. Cinderella killing people. That's all you need to know. All right, I'll see you on the next one, and thank you again to everybody that gave to the GoFundMe for my mom. I greatly appreciate it. All right, thanks, guys. Bye-bye.